Space, a final frontier.
We all have the opportunities of a lifetime, and this one, dear listeners, is indeed one of mine. If not the opportunity of a lifetime, the chance to go one-on-one with William Shatner. Yes, the man whose first name should be as in the William Shatner. He's currently on tour with his one-man show, Shatner's World. We just live in it. And as you expect, it's a show of humor, reflection, introspection, and philosophical views of the man who commanded a famous starship nearly 5 decades ago. Shatner's World opened on Broadway back in February, and Shatner's now taking it around the country with a stop at the Ferguson Center in Newport News at the end of this month. So joining me now for Hearsay is none other than the incomparable William Shatner. Mr. Shatner, what an honor to have you with us today.
What an introduction. I hope I'm worthy of it. Like I give this disappointing interview and you say to your audience, well, I made the introduction. Now in closing, what a bust.
Any opportunity to speak with you is certainly not a bust by any means.
Well, thank you, Danny. I want to make sure that your audience knows that I'll be there at Ferguson Center shortly, and I'm looking forward to coming. The show got great reviews in New York and all around the country as I've been going. It's been so well received, and I know we'll have the same effect. The show is an amalgam of stories and songs and things. It's filled with laughter. It's filled with, as you say, introspection and ideas and concepts. I riff on a lot of subjects like love and hate and music and motorcycles and horses and Star Trek and song. I mean, it's filled with a variety of subjects in which I try to make you laugh or at least think about the thing I'm talking about. It's great entertainment, and I know your audience will enjoy it.
Certainly. You've played many characters in your lifetime as an actor, and this is one time you're playing an actor you're well familiar with yourself.
I am playing myself, and yet as I tell these stories with other characters involved and me involved interacting with these other people, it's almost as though it's a story about somebody else, and I'm looking at it and thinking that's of interest. I'm also an actor on another level. I'm an actor performing in front of an audience, and I've got to retain your attention. And on another hand, I'm a stand-up comic telling you a joke, and I'm waiting for the laugh. And then I'm also displaying some interesting visual things that still amuse me. And on another level, I'm reminiscing about things that happened to me, good and bad, and I still live them and still feel the emotion. So the show works for me on many levels, and I've been told by people who come backstage that it works in the same way for them.
So what's your takeaway from this show as an actor or an artist? What would you say your takeaway from it?
Well, I get great joy out of it. I get great joy at the end of the evening when that audience tells me they've enjoyed it. By one means or another, I am totally and utterly gratified. It's a source of great pleasure. It's why I am an actor.
Would you say you've learned something new about yourself with this tour?
Well, I have. If it's not new, it's something that I may have thought of in the dark of night, and now I've said it out loud in the glare of the floodlights, and it seems to have the same ring of truth. So it's a source of some amazement to me. Yes, I thought of that, and I thought that's possibly true, and then the result is, yes, I guess it is true.
Let me ask you, you've portrayed so many characters in your career, and oftentimes people ask you, what do you bring to this particular role as an actor? Throughout all the characters that you've played, do you feel that any or all of these characters may have done something for you personally?
Well, I don't think there's any question that playing a role does that to you, whether I was doing something on Boston Legal that explored the beginnings of senility. Is it possible to imagine what it would be like not to be able to think straight, knowing that your brain was once brilliant and isn't any longer. What an athlete feels like when he's not 1 but 3 steps slower, and he realizes his body is beginning to decay. I had to think about those things. I had to think about, in the death of the part of Captain Kirk, I had to think about my own death and what I felt about that, and the fear, and how I would approach it, and how we're all bonded by the fact that we're all going to die, and it's how we're going to die and what's on the other side, where it lies, where is your dad right at this moment, that kind of thing. Those are things that an actor has to think about when playing a role. Is
there a role or character that you haven't portrayed, one that you would like to sink yourself into one day?
Well, I don't think in those terms. There's something just above, beyond the horizon, to raise its mast up like a sailing ship coming up over the horizon. There's something there that by the time I get to your theater, I'll be able to say this is what the next thing is. But I don't know what it is at the moment. Having said that, I have to mention something that's just happened, and that is I did an app for the iPhone, and it's the best-selling app in the iPhone store as of this moment. It's stupefying. It was out, and it soared right to the top. It's like an opening night, and I'm sharing with you the joy of an opening night with an iPhone app, which is unique in its character. It's something you've got to discover. It's called Chateauetry. And you've got to look it up because it's absolutely so much fun.
I must say, it's on my phone. So
is that right?
I have. And,
well, there's some more words coming your way.
Fantastic.
I went in and recorded more words and more apropos of Valentine's Day and Christmas and all. So you're in for a surprise.
You need to incorporate the word hearsay in there somewhere, the name of our show. So
okay.
Girls would love that. I want to ask, Star Trek is connected with so many people, so much common ground in many ways, conventions and such, like we were just talking about with the app and social media, the internet, it's taking over that kind of collectiveness. Do you think conventions are a thing of the past? Or
No, on the contrary. I think I've been directing documentaries and doing some interesting work and getting some awards, as a matter of fact. I directed recently the most recent documentary called Get a Life, and it's about why people go to conventions, especially science fiction conventions. And I discover, well, I don't want to tell you what I discover, but suffice to say that I discover a truth that I never knew before of why people go to conventions, and as a result, I realize that people will continue to go to conventions because it satisfies a need. What that need is, I want you to go see the documentary called Get a Life.
Well, I do have some news for you that the carrier USS Enterprise was built in Newport News, where you're coming, and the carrier is being deactivated on December 1st, the day after you're here. So is that a coincidence?
Probably a coincidence, but then what is coincidence?
There you go. Eloquently said so. To think that you will be here at such a pivotal moment in history and just up the street.
I'll be aware of it, and we'll all celebrate it and mourn it at the same time.
There you go. I mean, we have a huge military presence here, and
I know that my wife and I are deep into charities involving the returning military. Their problems are not different from the children's charities that I've been advocating for the last 30 years, benefiting children's charities in the Los Angeles area with riding therapy, hippotherapy it's called, and the military are finding that the returning soldiers are benefiting from the same kind of therapeutic work.
Well, that's marvelous. William Shatner, again, what an honor and a pleasure, sir, having you today.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you.
I wish you all the best, sir. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Again, if you'd like to attend Shatner's World, we just live in it, coming up November 30th at 8 p.m. at the Christopher Newport University's Ferguson Center for the Arts. Tickets are on sale now at fergusoncenter.org or by calling 855-FERGTIX. Or again, you can go online to fergusoncenter.org for all the details, including information on a special VIP meet and greet package.
This is Danny Epperson.